Good morning. This is Jim Whitehead of All Power Group. What we're going to talk about today, I'm a YouTube creator, as some know, and I want to show you my network that allows me to put together my content. And the change I just made, which hopefully is helpful to those that may be in the same situation. What you're looking at is the back of our main home. And in a minute, I'll be turning that around and you'll be seeing my building that we put in here to be my office and content creation location. Now, the building is about 30 feet from the home. And what we ended up having for internet, and this is kind of a tech program, we had Comcast internet with two accounts. One for the main home that you're looking at, and then one for, and I'm going to turn around, one for this building, because we thought generally that would have to be the choice. But as things get more expensive, and the way the world's going, we needed to come up and save some money, because we were spending about $250 a month for the internet in the home and $160 for the internet that we added later for this building. So we said, okay, how can we get this down to one internet connection? And let me show you the equipment that we're using. Okay, as I said, this is all Ubiquity equipment. The point is, though, I just want to stress this is not sponsored. Oops, sorry. Anyway, okay, this is wonderful. It is the U6 Mesh Pro, and it integrates into my network in the building. And what it's doing, it's sending Wi-Fi. And I had to try this because I try not to use Wi-Fi unless I have to. I'd rather use an Ethernet hardwire connection. But anyway, that's the situation. That's a wonderful device. Now I'm going to go over to our home and show you what we have there. Okay, what we have, and the reason it's not mounted on the wall is mainly because my wife, 24, does not like for me to put holes in walls. So we had to kind of mount this in a very interesting, unique way. But what this is doing, what I just showed you with the U6 Mesh Pro, this is a mesh device from Ubiquity also. And when you set it up in the software related to Ubiquity, it of course adopts the large U6 Mesh Pro, and it calls that the parent. And then when I put this over here and it's facing directly to the building, it in essence, my software, the Ubiquity controller, said, oh, okay, your U6 Mesh Pro as being the parent, it says, oh, I see I have a child. So it automatically, well, more or less automatically, picked that up. So in other words, we got Wi-Fi coming from the U6 Mesh Pro over to here and then into our home. By the way, if you can see, that's our wonderful Jamie. She helped me do this. But anyway, that's what we're doing and what's neat is I never, we tried different things. I used AI to say, can I do this? Can I do that? Was it the distances? And it kind of was, yeah, you can do it. Well, it works great. It works great. And I'll end up showing you more inside the building. And will also always be available for any additional questions. So, again, this is the child mesh device, and what I showed you on the wall is the parent, and it fits the nomenclature of the parent is tall and big, and the child is small and skinny. So there we go. I love using these analogies, although they're kind of stupid sometimes. So what we had to, besides multiple things in the home that need Wi-Fi, our thermostat, our alarm, you name it. So it was a point, if this wasn't going to work, I wasn't going to get any internet into the home. Now, entertainment-wise, I had to set up where the TV, the Denon receiver, and the Roku device, instead of them being hardwired with an Ethernet cable, I had to set them in Wi-Fi and connect to one of the Wi-Fi channels that we do now have going from the building to over here. And it worked great. I mean, really, it's been okay for about 3 nights. Now, why would you do this? Well, believe it or not, the expense of the total internet, as I mentioned, and the big cost here was $264 a month. So what's nice, and the building is only $150 a month, and I think I can get that down and get a little more speed. But, I'm able to drop that $264 and not have it where you say, well, yeah, it was much better the way it was before, even though you're saving money. But no, it's good, it works, and we're saving money. So Now you're looking at the building. That is my wonderful 28 feet long by 14 feet wide building, and that's where I have all my wonderful equipment, my channel, cameras, lights, and action. So anyway, yeah, the Christmas tree, I know it's May, but I love Christmas trees. So what we do is the Wi-Fi will go, okay, I'm going to put the Christmas tree on, and that is great. Now let's look a little bit at the property. We have 5 acres in the direction you're facing, which is not our land, but it's pretty well protected. Moving around the back of the building, you get a better idea of how big the building is. And this was all permitted, and we had to put this slab in, which was a foot longer, wide and longer, and that's where we have our power coming in from the building. I was running the building on EcoFlow equipment, which is battery equipment. Also, you see down there is the anchors. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 anchors on each side. The wind requirement here in Florida, in Naples, is 165, and you just saw one of our rabbits run away. But anyway, it has to withstand winds of 165 miles an hour, and Florida is such a, unfortunately, state. Now moving back, that's a storage building, that shed, I guess you might say, that we did not put in. That came with the building. And now I'm walking back to the fence. We have bears over here, and deer, and rabbits, and coyotes, and you name it. So it's one of those points of where you got to make sure that you're kind of, you know, fenced in so that when I let Jamie, our Shih Tzu out, she is basically safe. Okay, this is where you're looking back. This is where the property goes. And as you can probably tell from the grass, is that we've not had rain for 2 months, and we're hoping to get some rain shortly. By the way, speaking about the rabbits, we love them, we love them, we love them. Jamie loves them. And in fact, just so that we support them, Myra, or 24, has put out some water for them. But I ordered, a little bit ago, some rabbit food, and we're going to have it where hopefully they become part of our family. So, okay, that's going to turn around, and that's the back of the building, and I'm going to keep. Okay, what you're looking at is that's mainly most of my Ubiquity equipment. And again, as I stress again, this is not sponsored. And the top device is the Dream Machine Pro Max. It's a router switch, and it also has space for 2 hard drives, and that is where any cameras that you install, that's where it will record and store the information. Below that, we have the 24 port 10 gigabit switch, which is great for speed. Below that is and you see the blinking left light, almost left, that's the Comcast modem that's in what we call bridge mode. Some people, when they install these, they use the Comcast router as both a router and a switch. Router meaning that it identifies each piece of equipment that's attached and assigns it an IP address so there's no confliction. But I just have that in bridge mode, and I use the top Ubiquity Max where that is bringing and protecting my internet. Now, right above that, you see a camera that I'm kind of working on. I'm going to get that outside. I'm going to get it in the back. And how these get powered is what they call, PoE, which is power over Ethernet. So you really only have to run one wire to, in this case, the camera outside, and it will both supply the network connection and the power. Now, moving over to the left, I'm sorry, it's a little messy and so on and so forth. But what you're looking at, the very bottom portion, is just a backup power supply. And what you're seeing above that, the very first one above that, that is the relatively new Ubiquity UNAS. It has 7 drives, and that's what I use to back up all my content, so that if I go, oh, I need something, it is there. Now, above that is an aggregate device from Ubiquity, and what it does is, as these come in, for example, the Unify Max, you can either hook it up with a normal gigabit Ethernet cable, or you can go to the higher 10 gigabyte. And what I've done with that, which is above the UNAS, is these all bring in the connections and make sure that we can go to the much higher speed. So that, of course, goes over here. It's connected to here, and you can see that's where we are, and down below that's where we are. That's all bringing the connection in at 10 gigabit, which we certainly like. Now, what's down below here, that's a 8 port, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, no, 10 port device from Ubiquity. Yes, I've got the 10 gigabit gigabit connection on the right. But what this does is when any of these devices need what we call power over Ethernet, you can plug them in here. Like, for example, the camera needs power, so it's plugged in here, and that's why the camera can work, because you have choices of PoE plus, plus plus, and sometimes plus plus plus. So that is what we're doing. Now, as you see right now, that's the Alien Amplify, or Amplify Alien. That's also by Ubiquity. And this was what I had in the home as the router switch. So what I ended up switching over to Wi-Fi, so I could take this out and either use it or sell it. This was in the home, and everything was connected. The TV, the Roku, and the Denon receiver, and that would give each one its own IP address, and of course plenty of speed. And of course this was Wi-Fi, where you could put multiple channels. I'm either going to do one or two things with that. Great device. I had two of them. I had one in here and then one over there in the house. But when I got, because I had Ubiquity equipment in my other home, and I just came over here and said I've got to go back using Ubiquity equipment. And the neat thing is you have backup. So I'm going to use this Amplify Alien device either as another Wi-Fi access point, or I'm just going to sell it. I mean, the good news is my wife and I watched TV last night. First time she was away, she said, hey, it's working. The setup with Wi-Fi going from the building over into the home is working very well. So, we have a backup power. This is storage. Just about anything you need. And of course, I love this stuff, and it's great. So, anyway, we're going to take some pictures of this, and we're going to do this in a presentation to hopefully get it where you understand. Now, this is, excuse the lighting blinding you a little bit, but this is my YouTube and other content creation location. It's wonderful. We use the Streamer X. That's a Rode device. You can see we're using the Elgato. I use that when I'm doing presentations to move forward and move the teleprompter, which is wonderful. I mean, I can talk. I mean, I'm not doing, this is not, how would you say, scripted. But when I'm doing a presentation, you just want to make sure you sound not too stupid. Now, what we have over on this side is more monitors, but we have the Rodecaster Pro 2, and next to that we have the RCV, the Rodecaster video device, which I had the pleasure of being a beta tester. And what this will eventually do with my Streamer X that I got a year and a half, 2 years ago, that's what I mainly use for my streaming to YouTube. But this will be implemented and getting into where everything is going to kind of get combined more, and it adds more versatility to the function. Now I have a Apple Mac Mini M2, and over here I have the Studio Apple Mac 2. Very good device. That device allows me to get my work done. Now I also have 3 of the Ubiquity small switches, and what they are 2.5 gigabit. So in other words, these switches are a little faster than the 1 gigabit choices, and then what's really happening over time is we're just getting faster and faster. Excuse the mess. I mean, yeah, I keep things very messy, but bottom line, this is a pretty good setup. Yes, it needs to be straightened up. I've got mics and keyboards and another monitor over here. A tree growing. No, it's not growing actually, but anyway, I think that's about it. I'm going to take some static pictures, so we'll be including that also in this presentation. And you know, the point of this is going from a hardwired connection to our home was expensive, and another one over here. Well, we're going to be cutting that down to maybe $125 a month. So instead of $350 a month, we're going to be down to, let's say, $125 a month. And the good news is, yes, the equipment costs some money. The U6 Mesh Pro and the small additional mesh device, that was about $350. So within a month or so of not needing to pay for the second internet connection, it basically is very cost effective, and it saves money. So anyway, this is Jim Whitehead, All Power Group, Phoenix Animal. You will see an animal in this, because when I was taking a picture, one of our wonderful rabbits came over to see how things were going. So thank you very much, Jim Whitehead. Take care, All Power Group.